talking. Yes, you could just keep that for me for all future moments to remind myself to
Okay.
record this call. Well, welcome everybody. Hey, Princella, you've joined us while we are just giggling over here. You've got like this beautiful ray of light illuminating you. So welcome, goddess. Welcome. Yes. All right. We are here to discuss The Artist's Way. Chapter 7 is what we just finished, which was on recovering. I have chapter 3, recovering a sense of connection. I love how things connect in terms of the Artist's Way and those of us that are going through the Magi course, because tomorrow we'll be discussing the energies of the 10, which is all about connection and community. But this is really like a connection with ourself. So we'll get into some of the nitty gritty. Definitely like things like highlights of this chapter include perfectionism and jealousy. It's like, ooh, we're getting deep now. We're going in, ladies and gents, if there are any gents watching. But let's start with our favorite activity, which is the weekly check-in. That is the main reason that we're here, is just to come together and kind of debrief. How did this week go? And we are well in. Oh, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
A beautiful hawk just is in my tree, like in my front yard right now.
Oh,
And
how
it
sweet.
just like flew up
Oh,
sitting there. I think it's, I mean, it's huge. Okay. Hi, little, oh, oh my
oh,
God.
I love that.
Okay. I'm going to be, wow. Okay. All right. So, like things like that, taking, like paying attention. And I love that. I think she drops that foundation in chapter 2 is I've quoted this often, that the reward for healing is the result of paying attention. I'm paraphrasing, but I love that idea that when you pay attention, you see signs like that, or if a butterfly or a hummingbird or an animal comes into your experience, you're paying attention and then questioning, well, what is this message for me? Or a song comes on and you're like, I haven't heard this song in so long, a memory. We go back to a place that we've been before, but we're different. And it's just paying attention to all of those things. It's the beginning of this awakening process. So a hawk just landed in my tree. That's awesome. But we are now in week 7. How is it going? Let's keep this. The main questions are always the same. Morning pages. How did that go? Are we writing 3 pages? Are we writing 2? Size of notebooks? Are we discovering things? Artist dates and any synchronicities or issues. So we will free form this. I kind of want to go straight to Mare and just be like, kick us off, Mare.
There you go. Okay.
Pick my
It's
10
so funny.
clubs.
This morning I was gonna say, okay, I'm just gonna sit here and wait for someone else to go. And then you call me out. Okay.
The teacher.
Um,
Yes.
yeah, no, it's the teacher and you. I did about 6 days
Okay.
because we have a very sick cat, so I've kind of been focused on her. But I've done anywhere from a half a page to a page to 3 pages in a row, or I'll come back later
Yeah.
and it's been kind of that kind of week. But when it said, have you allowed yourself to daydream for creative risks? That I did. I wrote my little synopsis for my little sexy podcast and
Yeah.
worked with this little program and was getting everything all set up and ready to go. So that was like, okay, check, I got to play. But yeah, I did the morning pages. No, I didn't do an artist date.
And you talked about that in our group, and you had a very vulnerable share about that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like what being
Um,
alone.
yes, it just when I was in 6th grade at a bus stop, I got pulled in to a car by a stranger and they were taking off, and luckily the school bus stop was at my best friend's house and her brother was right there in the garage and he ran, and as my legs were like full, he pulled me out. And from that moment, anytime I'm walking by myself, and I've got my keys ready to go to kill,
Yeah.
knock someone out. So
Okay,
Yeah,
so
it
this
just gives
is
me that feeling of
it's stirring up
I don't
some,
have anyone here to protect me. Yeah,
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 real deep fear that comes from an event that happened, like a real life scenario that happened. So
right.
acknowledging that thank you for sharing that. Um, okay. I'm just gonna sit with that. I don't really have an answer to that, but I thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that. That explains I mean it's kind of it, I keep talking about this word acceptance. When we accept and where we are, there's like a power in that. It's like, okay, this is where I'm at because of this thing that happened to me.
right.
And you have the power now to rewrite that slowly but surely and with time and with grace, right? Like it
And
doesn't,
that's what I'm really looking
yeah.
forward. That's what it's, I didn't even really think of that until we started doing all the deep dive into the write a letter to yourself as an
Mhm.
8-year-old, all these
Yeah.
things. It was, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it was that kind of time.
How brave, Mare,
But,
to bring that up and vocalize it.
well,
It's
you
very
little
brave.
faces up there make it easy for me. So thank you all for
Yeah.
giving me that freedom. Thank you.
Face. Yeah. Okay.
That's
Okay.
it.
That's it. You're like, that's
I
it.
got.
That's
That's all
it.
I got. What else were the check-ins?
Like, do
I mean,
you want to
I
call
did
on
it.
somebody next? We can how we used to do it in the classroom sometimes, like
Yes.
called popcorn.
Well, I know the two, our sweet little Blythe and Kimberly always sit there real quiet. So itty meeny miny mo. Kimberly.
Oh, boo.
Oh yeah, yeah. It was a good week. I actually listened to all of the, things. I did some mantra. I listened to more music. I went to a concert.
Ooh, who'd you see?
Uh yes, Chris Stapleton. Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
yes.
incredible.
So,
And then I went to my sacred space was the Labyrinth. Very
that's
sweet. I'm
right.
gonna
That's right.
get
At
in that
Pioneer Park.
habit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's one downtown too at St. Luke's Medical Center. And I got the impression it might be even bigger than the one at the park here in Meridian.
Yeah, St. Luke's right now is under massive construction, like that whole area. So just FYI, if you do go down there, I don't know where the labyrinth is there. That's cool. I drive by that often.
And I guess there's a secret one they don't give directions to in the desert here in Idaho. And it says, find me. It's like it tells about it, it shows it, a labyrinth made out of rocks
I've heard
laid out.
this one
Oh, that's
in
cool.
Idaho City, maybe it is. I've heard people talk about a labyrinth that's out there. So,
Yeah, so that's a good seek and find.
ooh, yeah, there's an artist state, like just pack a pick
Oh, yeah.
and
When
follow.
an
I don't know.
adventure, I've been burning my candles more. That feels
Okay.
good.
Oh, nice.
And I write, I missed one day, I think, uh,
Hmm.
but I love the writing.
Good.
Yeah, really getting down and dirty, kind of like Mare. Things are coming up and just acknowledging them is really good.
Awesome.
Acknowledging, yeah. And
Yeah.
being brave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a good week. What else did I do? I did a collage. Did you guys do your collage? I love those.
No,
No,
I
I
mean,
do love those, but I have not.
I have them all over, and I thought like it could be a fun thing, maybe a celebration or at some point to do another vision board, but that's eventually what the collage is. Do you have it
Right.
nearby or is it posted somewhere where you can see it regularly, Kimber?
Yeah, I took a picture of it and then I have it in my painting book. So I've been
Oh,
sketching and painting more, which is a really nice habit to have.
awesome.
Yeah. And then I'll take on my pages, I'll like do a little sketch or something or throw some paint after I've written my pages. So
Hmm.
yeah, to
I love
encourage me.
that. I love
Yeah.
that.
So more artsy fartsy, Kimber.
Yay, artsy fartsy Kimber came out to play.
Yes.
Yay.
I love it.
Yeah,
Excellent.
so there were good cues this week. I'm gonna start listening to the cues in the chapters.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just takes a while to recognize, okay, this is the rhythm and like if I want to go deeper, or if I really want to get into this work,
Yeah.
there's lots of opportunity to do so, you
There
know?
is really, really, really
Yeah.
telling stuff.
Yeah. And some weeks lean towards that more, and some lean to it less, depending, I mean, especially during the summertime and what we have going on. So awesome.
Good
Anything
week.
else, Kimber, or do you want, you get to
I
pick
will
the,
pass the baton to Blythe,
all right.
our traveler.
It's going to be a very short commentary. This the ozone. I've done. I brought my books with me. I brought my writing. I brought my pens, and I've done nothing relating to that. So I'm in California, Santa Rosa. I came here for a high school, no, a neighborhood picnic, which was last night, and it's just time has been consumed with things beyond my control.
Yes.
How's that? And the reunion was wonderful, but and it's funny how little bits of what we've done and what I've done to this point before this week kind of fell into and apart are just important little reminders or little aha moments. And I can't give you a specific one, but I've just been aware of things in a different way and maybe behaved in a different way. Not, I don't know what that means exactly, but
Yeah, because you're at your sister's house, right?
I'm at a very dysfunctional house. Oh my. So you could hear that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Um
Yeah.
so really I've done nothing, and I leave in about an hour and a half to San Francisco to come home.
Yeah.
So I have nothing brilliant. Artist date, I don't know if that would be my flight, if that would be, I don't know
I
where
think
my
a lot of
artist.
ways, it's just like getting yourself there. You knew that this is something that you wanted to come back for, and you were originally going to drive, but since you're going back later, you found a flight and you found a way to make
Yeah,
it happen because connections matter to you, and this community that you grew up with, seeing them, like not many people, actually, I don't know anybody else who has like that would be like having a Valpico Drive reunion, right? Like
there you go.
it's the people who lived in your,
Yeah,
who are the people in your neighborhood?
in
Yeah.
my neighborhood. And it was funny. One thing, when we got there, we walked out of the car and over to where the group. It's a picnic in a park in Benicia, which is on a finger of the San Francisco Bay, and I saw all these white heads over there, and I thought, oh my God, that must be us, because that looks like a whole bunch of 80-year-olds. And it was, because it was, and most of us are, there's a couple that were a couple grades behind us. But it was just a bunch of white heads. And it was kind of like, it was a gag, like, oh my God. And then it was like, cool. It was
Yeah.
okay. But it was, I was astonished at my my observation and reaction to all the,
Because you don't feel that on the inside.
absolutely not.
I mean, it
Absolutely, I
would have been
don't.
fun if you had done your Stampin' hair and came in with like fuchsia hair or
Oh,
something. 'Cause
oh,
yeah.
wouldn't, oh well,
Yeah.
too late now. Yeah,
You met
I'm
your
yeah,
natural beauty.
yeah. So anyway, that's where I am, and I will catch myself up next
Yeah.
week. My writing this last week was pathetic, and it was just a week of prep in a
Yeah.
way that I don't usually
Yeah.
have it. So
Well,
anyway,
disruptive. Well, perhaps when you're on the plane ride home, you might want to pull out your pages and just write a little bit, like to process
they're in my backpack that I
the
carried on the
the
plane.
stuff that has come up,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
and then just see where the pen takes you.
Yeah, you might be able
that
to
would,
spill out a bunch of stuff from
Mm.
your weekend experience.
Yeah.
that would be interesting. I will do that, because it'll be underneath my feet, that
Yeah.
my backpack. It's my footrest.
Yeah.
So yeah, good idea.
Cool.
So Priscilla, it's your turn.
Okay, thank you, Blythe. Let's see. I did 2 morning pages this week, so kind of consistent with last week. In my environment, it's the same kind of energy, very, very busy. But I did get to take some time away, and when you guys were talking, I remembered, oh, wait a minute, I should share these for my my artist day. Is that I went out into the little town that's here, a cute little town, artistic little town with some cute bookstores and things like that. And I went out with the intention of finding some kind of like guide to paint, and I saw somebody had this little book and with these really good detailed instructions on painting something, but I wanted something different from what she had, and I wasn't able to find it. But what I did find was a little coloring book.
Hold it. Yeah. Oh, yay.
I
Nay.
love those.
See.
Yeah, love those.
Oh, there
There we
we go.
go.
There it
Yeah.
is.
It has-
Ooh.
Power of magic. Ooh.
Oh, I love
I know.
a grown-up coloring book.
I know it has some really neat things in here to color, like little
Design.
potion bottles. These are, I don't know if it's going to come into focus or not, but I really like the images that are in here to play with. There's a tree, a little decorative cat. It's really cute. And then the other thing I always wanted to do, I really appreciate poetry. So I just wanted to find something to just have, and I picked this one up. Milk and Honey.
Why is that ringing a bell for me?
Rupee
Going.
Rupee Kaur, Kaur. But anyway, it just has these little, oh, you can't see it, but anyway, just little.
This one?
Oh, sure. Let me see. I'm gonna just turn the page and see where it stops.
I love that.
Good.
You must have known you were wrong when your fingers were dipped inside me. Oops. I picked a good one, didn't I?
Come here.
Your fingers were dipped inside me.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
Yeah, right.
You know what? I am going to repeat it because that threw me off. So I want to read the whole.
How fun.
A little short thing. Okay. You must have known you were wrong when your fingers were dipped inside me, searching for honey that would not come for you.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
So good.
Nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
That's
milk and
good.
honey. Yeah.
That
Wow.
I'm getting steamy over here.
It's
Love
getting
it.
hot in here. Yeah. Good morning. Are we awake now? Oh, that's so neat. So you went into like a little town and just did a creative excursion and meandering into, did you find those in a bookstore there?
Yeah, one was actually a craft type store and one was from a bookstore. Yeah.
How fun. Great. Very nice.
Yeah, and it was nice to feel the freedom to do that because it's been so busy here. And I was like, you know what, I just gotta go away, get out. And we're in a community that the events that we have going on here are different from our lifestyle because we're straight. The community is LGBTQ, which I think I shared with you all. But we decided to experience an event that was happening last night. They're doing Christmas in July.
He's doing a nice job out there.
They did a whole skit, a few of them in drag, and just sang and danced, and it was so fun. It was so fun.
Yay.
Yay. Was there something, yesterday's date, I went down to the water lantern festival at our local park, but I thought it was going to be in the main area of the park, and instead it was like pink under the trees or something, but it was definitely LGBTQ community like dance party. And I was like, is this everybody's dressed uniquely themselves, which I loved, but I was going thinking, I was like, is this the right place? It turned out it was the wrong festival. It was on the other side of the park.
Oh, that's what you were looking for, a specific festival. Because I was just
Like
gonna
if there was
say,
something with the day or something, just
yeah,
what you said sounds similar to what I saw last night.
yeah, yeah. As so yeah, being in here and learning from the community about what that looks like to be present fully, wholly yourself is just, I just really am absorbing so much of that energy of this is me, and I'm like, okay, now who am I as a straight woman?
Yeah.
And I'm like, give me a hug. You know what I mean? It's
Oh,
just really, really beautiful. I had an amazing conversation with the one that leads the events here. His name is John, Sunny, and Drag. And I said to Sunny, I said, I have to admit, I'm a lightweight when it comes to drinking. So I felt a little free with my words yesterday after one drink. Anyhow, but I was grateful for that too, because it helped me to relax, to share with Sunny how beautiful he is. And I had the courage in that moment to say, when I give you a compliment, I see your face goes, blank. And I really want you to know that I mean it when I say that you look so beautiful. And he was like, thank you. And and he also acknowledged that he goes through that, that blankness instead of receiving, accepting a compliment, right?
wow.
That was a beautiful moment to just share with you guys. Yeah, I just love that. And I'm just so appreciative for the opportunity to just share my love for the people that I feel most connected to here, but anyway, so that's a
That's
piece.
this is just going to be a part of your life story that is going to be so impactful. It just seems like again and again, this community, for one reason or another, there's something that's coming up. It's either teaching you, growing you, leading you into all kinds of different directions, and sometimes pulling you away from like what you thought maybe it was going to be. But I mean, it just sounds like it's going to be like you're going to be unpacking this for a long time and you're still in the midst of it, but that it's really
Yeah, there's no doubt. Where I'm actually helping the manager here, or I'm sorry, the owner asked me to lead in this employee event, which he's never done before. And everybody's shocked that he's going to invest in a service that's close by here that he wants me to kind of mediate. And he's going to be a part of it also. And it's for communication and team building so that we can, because I said to him, we need to take steps here that nurture the employees here as much as our hearts are to nurture the guests that are coming here to give that to them. And so, yeah, so everybody's, that was one of the things that Sonny said. He's like, did you have a part of Michael doing that? And I said, maybe just a little bit, but it's his decision. Yeah.
What a beautiful gift you gave him, Princella. Just the acceptance and a simple compliment. It's really beautiful.
I'm
Really beautiful.
honestly, I feel so much gratitude for being able to just to be here and experiencing what I'm experiencing that you cannot get just from seeing somebody in a restaurant or walking in the park or something like that. Like living day to day and feeling I'm sorry, I can't say feeling because it's not my experience, but I don't know the right word, but I'm feeling a whole lot watching, and being present, so.
yeah, so cool, so cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I
Well,
think, let me share this real quick.
Oh.
I think our energy is very attractive because there's a bird party on my deck right now. And they're very interested in what's going on in here.
a bird party.
You have your hawk, and these
Yeah.
guys are, I've never seen so many birds on the deck.
Oh, that's so cool. All
we're-
right. All right.
We're very attractive.
The winged ones are speaking to us today.
Nice.
Cool. I'll wrap up the check-in with I wrote every day except for yesterday. This is my alone week, or has been my alone week. So there's really like no excuses. When I say alone week, my kids are at my ex's, and I just had a week to myself that was pretty open as well. So the most interesting, the writing was good. I didn't write yesterday because I opted to sleep a smidge and get Jasper to the dog park before I went up to Bogus Basin yesterday for yoga on the mountain, and just had a lovely, 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 lovely day up there. But I was with a friend, so that doesn't count as my artist date. What I am counting as my artist date out of all the things, I mean, I did a lot of things alone this week. Just that's how it often turns out. Um, and I think the most impactful experience was on Wednesday night. I was getting information that I was going to lose power, most likely. And I did for 6 hours. So the power went out about 5 o'clock. And I was expecting this storm to come in, and Mom, I think it hit Avamore pretty strongly, but it never hit my area, although I lost power. And it's been a long time since I've lived without power, and it was a super, to use the same word, powerful experience just to have no sound. Like, for me not to have music, sometimes it's podcasts, sometimes it's just background music, but I had my phone was in low power mode, and it wasn't fully charged before the power went out, so I was just like, well, this is what I had to communicate. I ought to keep some of it, but I just lit all the candles and got my lantern out. And then, of course, it was hot as blazes. And so it was hotter inside at one point than outside. So I took my camping mat and I laid it on my hot tub, which was like the flattest surface I have. I didn't want to lay on the floor. And I just laid there with Jasper. He hopped up onto the hot tub with me, and I just like listened to the crickets and the birds, and saw stars that started to emerge, and then I could see the smoke-filled sky off in the distance, and then how the clouds would cover up, and I really just laid there in silence for so long and let like fears come up and wash over me, and just breathing, and it was really lovely. And then by the time, and it's one of those things where you just forget how much we take power for granted, coming inside and like flipping on a light or looking at the clock. All of that. I finally put a Post-it on my microwave that said, the time is right now. Stop looking. And earlier in that day, I was kind of having I was in a funky headspace, and I had done an oracle card reading with a friend of mine, and I drew this. She was floored by the card that I drew. I guess it's a super powerful card. And it basically was all about resting. And I realized how hard it is for me to rest. It really is. And yet it's like a mixed bag. I can rest, I can stay in bed, but I'm still active. I'm either listening to an astrology report, or I am writing, or I am reading, or I am creating a marketing reel. I am doing something, but like, to have it all, like, nope, you're not doing any of, you're not going to listen to anything except for maybe what's happening inside your brain. So it was really powerful. And then the power came on, right, luckily, as I was going to bed. So it didn't get that, that freaky jolt at like 2 a.m. when lights come on. And I didn't have much on in the house, but it was a journey that I'm still unpacking, and I think I want to write about it. And then I'm questioning, like, I have all these things that I want to write about, and how come I'm not writing them? You know? How come I'm talking about it, and I kept saying, like, this is a summer where I live the artist's way. And I've just been questioning, like, am I? So, all kinds of stuff came up that night, and still working through it. So that would be my artist date. in my backyard on my hot tub.
I think that's amazing. I just want to say that. I mean, it's just amazing the strange things that occur when we need it, you know?
Totally. And well, and the funny thing about it was that, my son lives literally around the corner. So I just wanted to check in with all my kiddos. My other kids are a couple more blocks away, but I checked in with both of them and they're like, no, we've got power. I'm like, Ozzy is literally 2 blocks away and he had power. And then my mama had power where the storm was really hitting in Avamore. You were seeing some of the fires on the hill. You're muted if you wanted to say something. My friend down the street, like it felt like everybody around me. And so that's why it was like, okay. And like no joke that I'm reading The Surrender Experiment right now too. So I was like, okay, this is great. Okay, here we go. Like
Perfect.
I'm just going to accept what's happening and let it speak to me. So yeah.
And I want to just say one more thing about that. You know, your last statement there about I'm just going to let it blah blah blah. And it's like, how many times do things happen and and still even now, like like getting frustrated about something and not just being in the moment. How much we miss like the gems and the gold and that comes from that. So I don't know. I just wanted to say that out loud.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a little feedback when you're talking, Princelle. Do you hear it? Am I the only one hearing? There's
Well,
like,
No, I hear it.
okay,
Hopefully you can hear my words, but I have a lot going on in my background, so I keep muting myself.
I gotcha. Okay, so that's what we're picking. I'm like, is there like, are you channeling?
I know, right?
Like somebody, it's like if you take the audio and you strip out Priscilla's voice, there's this underlying mess. Okay.
Glad you said it out loud. Come on.
Yeah,
Once.
that one. No, we could hear your voice, but yeah, it's yeah. I'm really, really fascinated by this book that I'm reading, and it just keeps coming up for me again and again and again and again. And I think that's what the Artist's Way is. And the seeds are planted in this. It's is releasing the control, and which is just a false sense of control that I have. I mean, we have control to a certain extent with the thoughts that we think, and also there are other forces, the universe knows what it is that we desire, and so might be leading us towards something, and we have to be open to receive. So that's really what the surrender experiment, and try not to judge myself on things that don't make sense, like my decision that I'm planning an extended artist date for myself to go back to Ashland area of Oregon to the Goddess Temple, and I rented a teepee for a week, and I can't fully explain it yet. So, come back in like 3 weeks and we'll
To
find
be
out
continued.
what that, yeah, to be continued. Like, what's that all about? I don't know, but it feels right. So maybe I am living, and maybe I'm just too hard on myself. Can we talk about perfectionism?
Yeah.
I
Like,
think we should. I could barely keep quiet when I was listening to
Mhm.
Blythe saying the negative words. We got to talk, Blythe. I
Mm.
met the people I love talk like that. Ask Mayor. Like saying it was such a bad week and you didn't do this and you were kind of chastising yourself. But this is a big experience that you're doing.
You're
Mhm.
muted.
You're muted. You you're
You,
muted,
you,
Blythe. You need to turn on your volume.
Hang on.
Yeah,
Ask-
yeah, yeah. Oh, you can do it for her.
I don't think
As she's coming on, I'll just say I'm thankful you said that, Kim.
Thank
because-
Right. What a big experience you're doing, Blythe. Come on now.
Yeah. Well,
That
you
is
know
part of
what?
this. Yeah.
Number one, I could not figure out how to unmute myself on my phone, and
Yeah.
a message came up, and I was able to do it finally. I really wasn't depressed or disappointed or anything. It was just the way my week was, and it was just, this is the way it is, and this is the way it is, and I
Perhaps illuminating a pattern of how up until now, like you have been hard on yourself to say words
Mm.
like, Because I heard the word pathetic. You said it's pathetic. And it's not pathetic that you haven't
Oh,
like, written.
Right.
Right. And that's the thing. You're not, yeah, right. Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
that's what I mean. It like hurt my feelings. Like, oh no, no, no. Help, like this is a big deal you're doing. I loved your video when you were on Bart. Bart is a big experience.
Mhm.
yeah, it has been
Yeah.
quite an experience. I mean, lots of things and lots of things that I'm aware of and that I'm observing and that I'm grateful
Yeah.
aren't in my life. And then it makes me ever so much grateful for that vegetable that sits on the chair in front of his computer in my house. And he's really quite much more
Mhm.
than where I am right now.
Gotcha. Yes, understood. And
So
a lot of times that's how, seeing the things that you don't want or don't like, it just better gives that appreciation on the other end of like, this is, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, Kimber, feel free, or any of you,
Okay.
anytime,
Oh,
slap my wrist and tell me to snap out of it
Thank you for the
if I
permission.
use the wrong words.
I'll just remind you that it's probably a better habit to say, wow, it was tough this week, or
Uh,
gosh, cut yourself some slack.
it's been a
A habit.
challenge.
Yeah.
Some of it, yeah. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
I got it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you for saying that, Kimber.
Priscilla.
All
Yeah.
those hearts floating up. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, what else on perfectionism? Did you guys read that?
Mhm.
No,
Just some of the things that I have pulled out here. I'm gonna hit mute again on you, Mom, because I think I could hear.
thank you.
Um, oh my goodness. Oh, like one of the things that stood out, it like with perfectionism as we're growing or stepping into doing something like this comparative culture, she makes a mention to the success. A lot of us, like if we compare ourselves, if we're a filmmaker, for example, and we compare ourselves to Star Wars, George Lucas's,
Mhm.
masterpieces of, you can't do that because it's like, what about comparing them to his student work? He didn't, that was not the first thing that he created. There have been parts of creativity, but there's parts of us that overanalyze or compare with what other people are doing that prevents us from just doing something. Like I love what Anne Lamott calls the shitty first draft. Just do your shitty first draft. Like just do
Yep.
it. Don't overthink it. Don't let perfectionism get in the way. Just create for creativity's sake too, like for the release of what is in your mind. And it could be it could be scrapped and never see the light of day, or it could be the thing that over time evolves into your masterpiece. How did that sit with you, Mare? Because I know that you are doing more writing. Has perfectionism been something that
Yes, because I was introduced to a new mentor of mine. He's a judge for a writing competition in Florida, huge. And I didn't know that when I sent him a piece of my work and when I found out I had a heart attack. But he's been really lovely at just kind of giving me some positive feedback. But it's the same thing. I said, well, it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. He goes, just send me whatever you have. And I was so, no,
Mm.
it had to be perfect. And
Oh.
so he said the same thing, like just write a story. So I do. I have a storyboard of all my different characters, and he was worried that I was trying to have too many people and not really focus on just the one. So I
Mm.
understood, but it's like that's just how my brain works. But
Really?
yeah,
And the
I was
clubs.
yeah, because I've got this person over here is getting ready to do something to this person. Well, I've got to build that person so I can visually see it. So I just put a
Mhm.
bunch of pictures of people up that I see the characters looking like, and then I can describe the features and all that stuff. And that's the fun part.
Yeah.
But when he said, well, send me what you have, I was like, "Er, turn
Oh.
off. No. So
Oh.
yeah,
And
yeah.
when is this just happening currently or like right now?
Yeah, he's been in the hospital for a while, but he just got out. So he's like, okay, send me everything you've done so far. And it's just me like writing and then going to something else and writing. And so I said, okay, I'll just send you. It's this mashup of stuff, but
And
yeah,
did you?
I'm going to this morning.
Okay.
Yeah. He's
Awesome.
in a different time zone, so he's gonna look at it and call me. Yeah.
I love that, like literally a different time zone. Is he somebody you feel safe with?
Yes, he was starting to change my voice a little bit in the beginning.
Okay.
And I I write raunchy and I get it. And
Yeah.
he wanted love story. And I said, these two people, they don't do love stories. These people do love stories. These people do not. So it was
Mm,
just trying to help him see. And he felt really bad. He said, I'm not trying to change your voice.
okay.
And I said, my ego could be getting in the way because I've got a male telling me how to write a sex scene. No. I'm like,
No.
No.
no, let me teach you. And then perhaps, like, no.
Right. Ah,
So that was a minute of that, but then
okay.
no, we passed through it. We went over it and got over it. And it's really me just not wanting someone to tell me how to write.
Yeah.
I don't need that. I need just the flow of it sometimes to
Yeah.
rein me in. But
Right. And
that
who
was,
knows, like all the characters, what I was seeing, like when you're creating a character and doing backstories, right? Like we look at the Marvel series, they have all the backstories now of all the superheroes because those were all created so that the superhero can interact with others. And so
right.
all of these characters that you're creating, and you said like that's the fun part is doing that, is that might eventually it could just sit there as a part of your creative process, or these characters can eventually have something else, that
Yeah.
comes out of it. And like, how cool is that? Just to,
There's the first book has 4 characters introducing the fifth. The fifth has a couple of the main, but I see her, I feel her. She's building something on her own completely. So
cool.
I already see her there. She's there.
That's
But yeah,
awesome.
the same way.
That's awesome. And then just having that detachment, I think that's the big thing, that perfectionism is and he talks about this again in the surrender experiment, is like holding on to this rope, like a thick rope, like you're holding on so tightly to the outcome that you see in your mind. And he's talking about just releasing that control and letting it be what it needs to be, and how, like, who knows where it's going to go or how it's going to evolve or who's going to help you get this, into the light of day. Um,
I practice that a lot, the letting go of the outcome, especially like with the cat right now and the funds it's going to
mm,
take for surgery. And we don't have that. And so I thought, you know what, let's just put it out there. It's good. And the stuff about you've got to expect God to basically have your back. And so I
yeah,
just keep trying to tell myself, God's got my back. And my God isn't the guy with the, bell punishing everybody down below. That's not my God. My God's a giant beating heart. So it's like, nope, I'm good. She's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. It's all going to come together. So I love that way of living as if and
mm,
expecting things to work out.
hmm
Yeah.
yeah. What role does perfectionism play for others? Perfectionism, and then she talks about risk also. Perfectionism can prevent us from taking risks.
Crickets. Anybody?
Bueller. You guys want to talk about jealousy instead?
Oh, I got lots of
Live
that.
one.
I hate that.
What was your statement? Andrea, can you repeat that on what we're being quiet about?
Oh, about either perfectionism and like what do you feel like your perfectionism might be preventing you from doing? And because she goes directly, the flow is from this essay on perfectionism right into the essay on risk. Actually, that quote that I had about comparing to Star Wars was more on the risk.
Yeah, I just needed to hear it again to remember what I was going to say, and I couldn't remember, but now I got it. So it's so interesting when you think you've worked through something and then you want to take action on something and you're like, oh, wait a minute, why am I, and then discerning, is it about really wanting to feel into right timing, or is it a fear that's holding me back,
Mm.
And I think I'm in that right now, like really trying to discern, what is it really, you know?
Mm.
Um, and I'm still kind of wading through that right now. And so I'm in the, I want to say waiting
Mm.
side of it.
Avoid. Yeah.
Yeah. And so at the same time, I want to be aware if if I'm just convincing myself that that's what it is. I don't know. I still
Oh.
don't know right now, you know.
It is, I mean, astrologically speaking, we're in a really big period of this unknown with all the 29 degree points, and we're on the new moon. Like Venus, who represents our creativity, is going to hit another 29 degree point, 29th degree of Leo. And Leo is about our creative expression, shining our authentic light and all of that. And Venus, the feminine energy of creativity, is at that 29th degree, which is again, it's it's the culmination, it's the finality, it's the ending. And then and with the ending, like you look into this void of like, I don't know what's next. I don't know where inspiration is coming from. I don't know who's going to help me get there. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
fear is like,
Okay. Yes. Okay. Then yeah, I can own the waiting. I do believe that that's where I'm at. Yeah.
I struggle with that.
I'm doing my yoga, doing my meditations,
Yeah.
trying to take my space when I feel like my energy is consumed by a lot, because there's a lot of emotional, passionate energy here in this community too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah. Um, and as I've shared, I'm still learning almost every day here. It is magnificent. And
Mm-hmm.
that, so
And that
okay.
could be what's taking, like, that's filling most of the space that is Priscilla, right? Is just like that, maybe it's all about receiving right now, versus the output.
That touched my heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think
Perfection.
that's why I'm sketching so much, is because sketching and painting, because I'm just so critical of myself and what it turns out to be. And before, you have to start before you can, you know,
Yeah.
do that, if you need to do it at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So getting in the practice of, and
Just
that's
doing
what the writing is doing for me too, the practice of writing, and then the practice of sketching and painting
and doing that for joy's sake. She has this quote on page 120. Instead of enjoying the process, the perfectionist is constantly grading the results.
yeah.
Like even while you're in the midst of it, I know that I can do that pretty regularly, and unless I think I'm getting better at catching myself and just being like, just write for writing's sake. Like you are not like, this is not being published anywhere. This is just the first step in the process, and it's supposed to ignite something joyful and creative and fun. And we put our own blocks over that by wanting it to be perfect, whatever perfect is for us. And then we stay in the safety zone.
I like what she said about the perfectionist calls this humility. In reality, it's egotism.
Oh,
That was good. And I have a little post-it in my room that said by the mirror that says egotism. Like, get away from the mirror now, walk away. You don't have to sit there and yeah,
right.
I like
Right.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's huge. That is huge. I love, she talks about in the movie Raging Bull, like just moving out of that perfectionist state and taking a risk, where one of the characters, and I don't remember this movie at all. So but somebody says, so do it. If you win, you win. And if you lose, you win.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Almost makes me want to watch the movie. So the risk is worth taking simply for the risk or for the sake of taking it. You know, taking the risk to take the risk. And then I love how she said, what would if I didn't have to do it perfectly? Let's everybody think about this question. If I didn't have to do it perfectly, what would you try? And she has a big list on page 122 that starts with stand-up comedy, modern dancing, and it ends with taking a watercoloring class. If I didn't have to do it perfectly, what would you try?
Absolutely 100% singing in front of people.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know
Well, you
why.
know, now you're gonna have to, right?
On.
Oh, I know that your community is going to put on a karaoke night, and girl, you get your one drink and you get behind the microphone.
Yeah.
My dear friend Brian is back in town, and we were just talking about our go-to karaoke song, and he said he's like mine has to be Don't Stop Believing. I've got to be early in the karaoke night. It's got to be a crowd-pleasing song because he's like, tell you what, like nobody's in it to listen to my voice, including me, but I can have the fun. I could be silly and have fun and raise the vibe and hope, you know, that the crowd is going to assist. So I
Yeah.
thought it was cute just knowing your karaoke song and like where do you fall in the karaoke lineup? But
You know, when I'm watching the karaoke here, that's what I noticed. I'm like, my gosh, the
oh, they
people
do
that,
do karaoke there.
yes.
Take a risk.
What's the name of the park you're at exactly? Hold on, we got a pencil.
I want to know where to do karaoke. Where is it?
It's where I'm in Michigan right now. It's called
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, yeah.
campitresort.com. Yeah.
So we can
So,
make a special request is what we're doing.
Yeah.
what?
Well, I think it's a fun question to consider. Like, what is your go-to karaoke song? I have a soul playlist with prompts, and that's one of them. Like, what's your go-to karaoke song? Just meaning, you know, that song that you love to sing. Maybe you know all the words, and it doesn't matter how it sounds, but that you
Yeah.
can have fun singing. So just maybe just meditate on what would that song be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you reminded me of that crowd pleasing thing, because when I watch, that's what I think of. I'm like, yes, just engage with people. It's not about my
Yeah.
voice. It's engage with people. And I quickly forget when I walk away. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, and that's it. And then there are some people who karaoke that have like really great voices, and it's like good for you guys. Like that's amazing and fun that I could sit here and receive that, but mostly the point of karaoke is a lot of it is risk taking. That is the perfect, I mean, not necessarily karaoke. It could just be even taking a walk in your neighborhood and singing, or in your car singing out loud like that, in the shower, like baby steps to get there. But that is a perfect example. Taking a risk, singing. All right. What with some other people, if I didn't have to do it perfectly, I would try.
Well, not necessarily modern dancing, but any kind of dancing in public, any
Mm,
kind of sober. Let me add that part.
mm.
'Cause liquid courage, I can cut a rug, I can sing songs. My karaoke, I used to do
Yeah.
karaoke back in the day, and it was there was a song called Bitch, I'm a Bitch by
I'm a
Meredith.
bit dumb,
And
dumb.
then there was Black Velvet. Those were my two songs that I
Oh.
sang all the time. But I had drinks in me, so but
Mm,
yeah, I think any kind of dancing, if I didn't, and it's not that I have to do it perfectly, but if I didn't have everybody, if
Yeah.
I knew that not one single person was going to judge anything that I did or put me on a video meme somewhere,
oh, yeah.
that would be, because people can be cruel. So I just
Yeah.
don't.
Yeah. Yeah. And so again, like that looks like what are the baby steps until you are ready to like dance publicly again in a sober manner, like dancing in your kitchen, putting on, if it's salsa music, like, see, can I shake my hips? Can I?
I've been doing belly dancing.
Oh,
Yeah,
love it.
ish. I mean, my version of it, but I follow this belly dancing lady teacher on YouTube,
Oh,
and I
cool.
beginners. It's a lot of fun.
Perfect. That's great. What about some others? If I didn't have to do it perfectly, I would try.
I think I would be stand-up comic.
Oh my gosh.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's happening.
On
It's
long
happening.
trips, on long
Open
trips,
mic.
I just crack myself up, man. I have a whole, I could go for an hour and just, and it's pretty good material because life is good material, right?
Life
I
is
could
good
do
material. I
a
would
couple hours
love to sit
on
in
my
your
dad,
comedy show.
right? Living with an old man. Oh shit. Funny. Funny.
What was it like, even just the other day when I was doing the card session at your house and we were walking through and then your dad
Uh-huh.
comes out like in his underwear. It's
I
like,
know, like, hey, hey, hey. This is
yeah,
life.
so great. So
Yeah.
great.
So
Mama looks like
that'll
she,
come up.
I know. Okay. All right. Stand-up comedy. I'm trying to think what I would do. I mean, I feel like there's so many things. I do I do push myself to like sing and dance in public, and a lot of people call me courageous. That is me actively working through fear, like knowing that, and then just trying to get out of that headspace. There's that saying, like, dance like everybody's watching or dance like nobody's watching. Like, it depends. There are two different type of people. Some people need to dance like everybody's watching, or some like nobody's
Yeah.
watching.
Yeah.
I do a lot of those, but I also am a performer, and I'm going to be talking a lot about this. I have a lot of 10 energy in me, as being a 10 of diamonds with a 10 of hearts decadent ruler, and then 10 of clubs is my karma card. Like, and 10 is all about the community and being received. Um, gosh, I'm looking at her list. Yeah, wow. I'm a little stuck. I think I do have some blocks over, definitely over perfectionism. Like, maybe I sing and I dance because I used to, I used to be an onstage performer, and I'm comfortable with that. So that's not really stretching me. What would stretch me instead would be,
Goodness gracious.
gosh, maybe riding a horse, or
I can make that happen if you want to do it.
oh my gosh. I have in the past, but I think I do have some fear over that. Drawing is a good one for me because, like, okay, so yesterday at the Water Lantern Festival, you do the sides of the water lantern, and I noticed that everybody that I was in that group with, they were drawing and I was just writing words. I guess I'm also very comfortable to write words. Obviously, like, I write 3 pages every morning. So it's just like, bleh. But then I was like, okay, one side I'm gonna draw. And I drew my river mermaid. And she hasn't changed since 6th grade. She is the exact same. Like, and I was embarrassed by it, but I showed it to my friend. She's like, oh, that's so cute. And I was like, oh, okay, thank you. So maybe it has more to do with the artistic, the non-verbal, but the written, like, even like painting, like a watercoloring class. Yeah, I think it's more like that, because that I like the coloring book, Princella, like that. I'm like, yes, I love coloring, but
Look at,
actually
go
taking
get one of these.
the reverse coloring
It
book.
gives you, and it's whatever your mind sees, you
Uh-huh.
draw. It could be something like this, but it can also be kind of abstracty. And so
Oh,
Love the
it's
abstract, yeah.
whatever your mind sees, you draw that. And then it makes you feel like an artist because they've already done most of the work.
oh, and you
And
add on top of it?
you just
Mhm.
doodle. You doodle, or you whatever you see when you're looking at it, you just
Uh-huh.
it's like those old things in the 80s or 90s that you let your eyes like zone out
Yeah,
and you see
yeah,
something. Yeah.
yeah.
So that's the fun of it. She's kind of showing you how you just
Oh,
doodle.
right. And then you draw over it. That's
Oh.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
whatever you see or yeah, it's so
Okay.
freeing. And then all of a sudden you're voila, an
Voila.
artist.
An
Yeah,
artiste.
that's right.
Okay, I'm inspired to get I need more creative inspiration in the realm of coloring, painting, drawing. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. It is beyond our hour time. This
Oh,
just goes like woo, just like
Mm.
that. So we're going to be embarking on week 8, which is recovering a sense of strength. Love that. I mean, 8 is such a power number, so I think that that's really well timed. So, gain disguised as loss. Ooh. It's gonna be a
Mm.
good one. So there's actually I feel like in this chapter there are more essays and longer readings. So once again, either trying to find the time to carve it out to read it or to listen to it. Uh, there's a really powerful on page 144 to 145 exercise on early patternings where it's like a fill in the blank. So she's trying to make this easy for us to do some deeper dives into beliefs that were set in to us at an early age. Um, and then there's some affirmations. The tasks are so good. So good. Like if you are really stretching yourself, that task number 1, I have done it. I think I'm going to redo it. I was just reading an old one, Ideal Days, just really, really great stuff. And we are moving into the new moon. So it's a really great time to next week. Actually, next week, I don't think we're gonna have an Artist's Way call because of the new moon. I'll share more in the Polo space about that. But I am leading an intention setting circle on the Boise River in the morning. So it's not scorching hot and not crowded with all the partiers. So we can have a lovely river float in the morning and set some intentions for the new moon. Mercury's going to go retrograde on the same day. Venus moves into Virgo on the same day. Like there's a lot happening. So, so just getting really clear or pulling back more layers. Maybe that's all. Like maybe you don't have to have the answer, but you just continue to pull back and be playful and fun in the meantime.
Is that pulling us out of the waiting period you talked about that we're in right now? Venus?
Yeah, I mean, so again, the Venus point is at that same 20, like another 29 degrees of Leo. It feels like things are opening more up after the full moon in Aquarius, which is going to be on the 19th of August. Because whenever there's a retrograde, and this retrograde, at least Mercury is retrograding mostly in Virgo, which is his home sign, and then back into Leo a little bit. But anytime there's a retrograde, it's a review of our communications and how we express ourselves. And it's also when, technology can go bonkers and all of that. So double checking everything, if you're traveling, making sure that perhaps you have a printed copy of your things, again, that power outage, just not taking things for granted that so much of our lives are in our electronic system. So what would happen if it goes down for 6 hours? That's what I experienced. 6 hours. Whoa. So it's going to be a great time to just think about what it is that we want to bring. But I think like the after the Mercury retrograde, which is most of the month of August, is when more clarity and next steps and open up. So doing our work now to prepare us for then is going to be helpful. Yeah. It's a pleasure to start my day with you all, my Sunday, my week with you ladies, you beautiful creative artists. You inspire me also to to take some risks. Take some
nice
risks.
to see you guys. Are you ladies going to the Goddess festival? Yes.
I am.
I would love to, but I'm not allowed to be in this air.
Yeah, it looks nicer today than it was yesterday.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the air is a
Yeah,
little crummy.
my little alert says new.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go wander and probably run into you.
Yeah, I'm gonna head
Mr.
down there
Teacher.
momentarily. I'm gonna take Jasper for a little run and then head over there. I mean,
Okay.
he's gonna run. I'm not, just to be clear.
Just to be clear.
Yeah. All
All
right.
right.
Well, have a beautiful week and we'll talk over on Marco Polo as things come up. But yeah, have a great week, everyone. Thanks for being
You too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.